Greetings, it's Joanna Condé, and today I'm going to be talking to cash buyers about proof of funds, what is needed, why it is needed, and how to avoid penalties and taxes, the pros and cons of different kinds of proof of funds. So, without any further ado, I am going to share my screen. I prepared a slide presentation, and I'll go over what I've written, but I thought it might be easier for you to have it in front of you so that if you wanted to capture the slide with a screenshot or if you wanted to write things down. So here we go. What is proof of funds? Proof of funds is documentation showing that you have the money to pay for the property and close the sale. It's required for all cash offers, and it gives sellers the confidence in your ability to perform financially. If you are a seller, you would want somebody to have some proof before you signed a contract and got into negotiations that the person actually had the money to pay for the house, right? Do the funds have to be in cash? No, they don't have to be in cash or in savings. They could be other assets that are liquid, accessible, and verifiable. You just have to have documentation that they are in your control and that they are in your name. What can be some of the sources of funds? Well, there are actually quite a few. They can be checking or savings accounts, money market accounts, brokerage investment accounts, CDs, retirement accounts, trust or estate funds, business accounts, and crypto assets. And we'll go over each one of those a little bit later to show you where they come from and how they have to be documented. Questions buyers should ask. When you're talking to someone about the money, say it's your brokerage firm or your bank, how fast can you access the money? Will I be taxed or penalized? For example, if you're withdrawing money from an IRA early or a retirement fund. Is the account in my name? And that's important because your name has to be on the account or with the funds, just like it would have to be on the contract. They have to match. Can you combine multiple accounts? Yes, you can. You just have to have the documentation for each account. So you could have money in a savings account, money in an IRA, money in a CD that all together could say that you have sufficient funds to purchase a property. Do you need additional documentation? It depends. It depends on what the requirements are of the seller or what the additional documentation is for someone who's going to give you proof of funds. The most common sources of funds are checking accounts, saving accounts, money market funds. Why? Because they're easily documented, they're widely accepted, and people, understand them. The cons are they may require redaction for privacy. What kind of redaction? Well, you take out anytime your social security number appears, or your EIN appears if it's a business account, or your social security number, your EIN, or the account number, because that documentation is going to be go to the seller and the agent, both agents, your agent and the seller's agent, and it's also going to go to the title company. So you don't want any of your private information visible to them. Another source of funds that's common is investment accounts, CDs, IRAs, and others. And they prove, you may show financial strength, good, but you have to be concerned about the timing. When are they due? Are there possible penalties? Is added documentation necessary? It's not cons that are overwhelming and they're just things you need to consider. Another source of funds are retirement accounts. Now they can show financial strength, but you may have penalties from withdrawing from them, just like you would CDs or IRAs. You need to check on that because you don't want to get into a situation where you've made an offer on a house and then you find at the last moment that you're going to have severe penalties for withdrawing the money early. Don't get into that situation. Have that all documented and checked out early. Other sources of funds. Trust or estate. Perhaps you ended up being the beneficiary of an estate and you know the money is coming to you, but you may not know exactly when. But you have it in the estate. Okay. You need documentation of that, or maybe you have money in a trust fund. You need to know, have documentation. You need to know what the timing is and how long it's going to take you to get those funds. Okay. And you need legal documentation that you are on that trust or you are on that the estate as a beneficiary. Okay. Another one is crypto. Now, many people are purchasing funds in crypto, and now you get a statement from it, but you need to cash it quickly because it fluctuates greatly. We would need to convert it to cash so that you would have cash to pay. It can't just be a statement. It needs to be a statement that's going to be accurate, not a week old or 2 weeks old. It needs to be. So that's a little bit tricky. And hard money is really a loan. And they say it's so that you can make a cash offer. And it's often used as sort of a stopgap, maybe like a bridge loan. It's when maybe you have a trust that's coming due or a CD that's coming due, and they will loan you the money in the meantime. But you need to check to see what the terms are for the hard money lender. And there are a number that can be found on the internet. And so what the interest rates are, what the terms are, what the time is, all of that before you actually decide to go with hard money as part of your cash in order to purchase a property. Documentation for the proof of funds. Well, your bank or your credit union can give you a statement. Easy. Then you could have a letter from an institution verifying the funds. Fairly easy. Perhaps your brokerage. They need to be recent within 30 days. 60 days doesn't cut it. 90 days doesn't cut it. Do you have the money now, as of the time you're going to be making that offer or looking for a house? The name on the account must be the same as the name of the buyer. You can't have an account in Sally Jones and John Jones is going to buy the house. No, it has to be both the same names. And again, redact sensitive information. Where to get proof of funds documentation? From your bank or credit union, your brokerage firm, your financial advisor or planner. They may be able to put it all together fairly easily because they have all of your accounts. That's how they give you financial advice. Your retirement account provider, your trust administrator or estate representative person, the hard money lender, if you're using hard money, and your crypto exchange platform. You can go in and copy your statement, but it needs to be converted quickly to cash before it changes value. What to avoid? Older partial statements. Unverified screenshots. Sometimes people will take screenshots of a statement and send it. No, it needs to be more than that. They can send that at the beginning, but they need to follow up with documentation. Assets that aren't liquid. In other words, you can't turn them to cash quickly. Verbal confirmations only. I do have the money, right? It is coming. I can give you a promissory note that I'm going to pay you back. No. No unsecured gifts. It has to be essentially cash in hand or cash equivalent in hand. Maybe that's the way to think about it, cash equivalent. Final tips. Get organized. Get all your sources into one bunch and then provide separate documentation for each account. For example, you could have a sheet that lists all of the sources that add up to the amount of money you want to spend. And then behind that, you could have documentation for each one of the sources of those funds. Okay. Remember to redact the account numbers from everything. Just leave the name, the date, the balance, and where you're getting the money from. It should be on the title page, like, Bank of America, checking account, redact the account number, and you redact anything else that's privileged there, and then you just leave the name, your date, and your balance. But have the proof ready before you make an offer. And try to do this before you choose an agent. Why? Because that sets your expectations of how much money you have and when you will have it. And that gives you a chance to understand where you're going to look and when you should be looking. If you'll have penalties in the next 3 months, it's kind of foolish to look for a house now if you can't close on it within 3 months. So you have to determine that before you start looking. It keeps you from wasting time, and it keeps your agent from wasting time, and you're not going to be looking at homes that are out of your budget, right? Having the documentation up front shows that an agent that you're qualified and that you're serious. Many agents won't take somebody out to look at houses unless they have, who says they're a cash buyer, unless they have a proof of funds. So it's good to have it because that says that you are serious and you have your act together. And then having a proof of funds allows your agent to negotiate on your behalf when they submit an offer and they say, hey, this client is really, he's ready, willing, and able. He's got his act together. They have funds. And that gives you an edge over somebody that comes in with maybe financing offers. Okay. So it's to your benefit to have it all done. And it speeds up the process. And thank you for listening. This is Joanna Condé with Real Estate for Seniors. I'm going to unshare my page, and I'm back. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm going to have more in this series for buyers, and I have also a series for sellers that should take buyers through the step right from the time they decide to buy, getting their act together with proof of funds, and every step of the way to make the process smooth. So nothing kind of hits you out of the blue. You have an idea of what to expect. So if you like this video, would you please give us a thumbs up? And if you think you'll like the series, please subscribe so that we can make sure that you get every video in the series as soon as they come out. And thank you for watching. Again, it's Joanna Condé with Real Estate for Seniors.